Foundation for the Arts. He's going to give a little remembrance of Ryan, and he has a special announcement he's going to make.
Hi, everyone. So, it's hard to speak after, it's very difficult to speak after that. So I was going to write some stuff down, so I could be eloquent and say things that were moving or compelling, or you could take with you as you leave the room. And I started to, and then, sorry. I actually heard Ryan speak to me, and he said, just speak from your heart, please. So I crumpled up the paper, and I don't know if he really spoke to me or not. I don't know if it was my imagination. I don't know if I believe in this stuff, but I heard him. So here I am, paperless. Thank you, Ryan. So Ryan was my executive assistant for 2 years, and in that context, he would manage my schedule, and he would coordinate the meetings for the board of directors, and he would handle the logistics, and he would oversee all kinds of hospitality. And really, he just did whatever I needed him to do, and he always did it with a sense of warmth and a really good sense of humor, which you need when you work in a not-for-profit. And so because that was the context of my relationship with Ryan, the conversations we had were limited to things that had to do with tasks that needed to be completed and small pleasantries. And then Ryan, being Ryan, wanted to challenge himself, so he wanted to move on to what we call our development department. And being a writer, he wanted to write the grants on behalf of the organization, which I thought was a great idea, so I encouraged him to do that. And he started working or reporting to somebody else. And because of that, our conversation was during the pandemic when that transition happened, so we weren't in the office anymore. And we talked less and less till we hardly talked at all. And then things changed when he moved back here to be with his mom and dad for his treatment. And things changed because I started to call him. I wanted to know how he was doing. I wanted to offer him any kind of encouragement that I could. And slowly, it was very slow, it was over many, many months, we both took down our walls. Remember, we were boss and he reported to me, so we had this professionalism that we had grown into. We started stripping down those layers and revealing ourselves to each other. And what was revealed to me was a man who was wickedly funny, very smart, amazingly creative, and extraordinarily brave. And even though Ryan was going through all that he was going through, he would, as somebody else mentioned, always ask me how I was, what I was feeling, and he always wanted an update on my kids because he knew how important they are to me. And so through those conversations, it was where the student truly becomes the teacher. And this young, extraordinary man was teaching someone who was twice his age about compassion and humility and grace. And the biggest gift that Ryan gave to me, because is Robbie here? That's the man who spoke before, his friend? Yeah. So I am one of the cynics where the house is always burning down. I stand in that box all day long. But Ryan taught me that, You have to have hope. No matter what road you're traveling on, and no matter what you see is coming your way, you have to have hope. Because without it, as he said to me, you have nothing. And I think that was his greatest gift to me as a human being on this planet, is remembering there's always hope. So, in return, I would like to give a gift to Ryan and to his parents, Tom and Pat. And so yesterday we launched a new fundraising campaign for a new award at our organization. It's going to be called the Ryan Hudak LGBT Playwright Award. And I will be calling up everyone I know and encouraging them to donate. And my hope is that we raise enough money so that every year a young emerging playwright will have the time that Ryan did not have to write. That will be his gift to these people every year. That will be his legacy. His time was taken, but he will give someone else that time through this award. So I hope that my words in some way meant something to someone, and thank you for letting me speak. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay, before we done with the remembrance part, it was amazing. Everybody who spoke, how I can't even speak. Before we go and toast to Ryan some more, there's a buffet out there that we're gonna kind of go table by table to enjoy. But I have to, one more part I have to offer to you. Ryan's grandfather, my father, he loved music. He loved big band, he loved Dixieland band, he loved Broadway musicals, blues. And as a little kid, 7 years old, I guess my mom never liked music because he would take me to these concerts and I would see, people like Count Basie and Duke Ellington and every fantastic big band person in the world, and I loved it. I said, this is just amazing. I mean, the sound and everything. So when Ryan was born, I always said to my dad, you gave me the gift of music. I have experiences that I talk to people all the time, and they don't even know what I'm talking about. They didn't have somebody in their life to show them, this wonderful art form. And I said, I'm going to do that for Ryan. And so I would share with him music I grew up with in the 60s and 70s. And of course, he gravitated toward the singers-songwriters, of course. Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Crosby, Stills and Nash. But I was never stuck in my, a lot of people are stuck in whatever they grew up in, and that's pretty much the only music they kind of listen to. I always look for people who were, doing great things out there, whether it was 70s, 80s, 90s, or recent. And I had recently turned Ryan on to John Batiste, who did pretty amazing at this year's Grammys. But it wasn't too long ago that I had introduced him to the Mamas and the Papas. And it was funny because Ryan would always get upset with me, like when he heard something really good that I would introduce to him, and he'd say, "Why didn't you tell me about this sooner?" I said, Ron, we have a saying with my music friends, so much music, so little time. So he loved their amazing harmonies, and he loved California Dreamin' to start with because it reminded him of his trip with his CMU friends to LA in their senior year. And but this song that we're going to play tonight, it's a brief song that spoke to him, and it makes all the sense in the world because Ryan, as I said before, always made his good time, always made it count, and always made his own kind of music. And if you wanted to come along, that was great. But if not, he's moving on. And so, like I said, since it's a celebration, if you want to sing along with the chorus, go ahead. It's a short song, and then we'll just move to to have some food. And then one more thing, after we eat, the people here at the museum are going to show us how to personalize these lanterns that you'll see over here. They have sleeves that we can personalize, and you can say things about Ryan or loved ones in your life that have passed. And looks like the weather's holding up for us, so we're going to go down at the end of the evening and go down to the pond. And we're going to launch these lanterns that have the lighted lanterns, and just kind of say a final goodbye to Ryan and to the celebration of the evening. And again, I thank everyone. I wish I could spend so much more time with everyone. It's got a little frustrating, but it's just been so heartwarming for us all. So, Tommy, where are you? You ready? Make the magic.